let me respond to this, because they've been emailing me for a response. Your fucking cancel tactics don't work anymore. Yeah? Your hope is that Migrant cancel me. Those times are gone. It don't work anymore. They're not going to cancel me. Yeah? I am an expert. And your big expose was me, what? Telling young men to get in the gym. Get up early, get fit, be healthy, stop drinking alcohol. Big expose, well done. And unfortunately for you, I'm not just an expert in my field, yeah? I'm a far superior journalist to any of you. And people trust what I say and not what you say. You've got all your figures wrong and you're adding up, you fucking idiots. But my only response to this is, I'm not going to get cancelled. That's got to hurt. You see, just for anyone looking at this, what they used to do with this, they used to bombard social media companies. The media act as a weapon for the state. And they bombard them, they harass them until they cancel you. And they try and dig up dirt and they'll get some comments from other people. And they'll try and say, look what he's saying. Look what he's using his platform for. Unfortunately, they don't realise the United States believes in free speech. You may not, Times journalist, and your intention here was to have me cancelled. And let me tell you right now, you failed miserably. Absolutely failed. I'm not getting cancelled. Thanks for the promotion. I'll get lots more personal contact from this. So I'm very thankful. I'll be busy over the next few days on Migrant. Thanks to you guys. Thanks for my promotion. Whereas you used to think you're cancelling us, now all you're doing is promoting us. Cheers, guys.
British activist Tommy Robinson has hit back at what he describes as a coordinated effort to have him removed from the Migrant app, a subscription-based platform that allows users to pay for direct contact with public figures. In a new video released online, Robinson laughed off the latest controversy, insisting that attempts to silence him are outdated and ineffective. They think this will make the Migrant app cancel me, he said, punctuating the remark with laughing emojis. We are in new times. It simply does not work anymore. This is not journalism. It's an attempt to have me cancelled. An attempt that's failed. I look forward to many more Migrant contacts. Robinson's defiance comes after critics circulated calls for Migrant to sever ties with him, citing his long history of provocative statements and legal troubles. Instead of retreating, Robinson has portrayed the episode as proof that traditional media tactics no longer carry the same weight in the digital era. The activist has often cast himself as a target of establishment media, positioning backlash not as a liability, but as a form of validation, by linking the controversy to what he calls a broader cancel culture. Robinson is tapping into a narrative that resonates with a global audience skeptical of mainstream journalism. The Migrant app has increasingly become a flashpoint in debates over free speech and accountability. Designed to connect public figures directly with paying subscribers, it bypasses traditional media outlets and their editorial filters. For figures like Robinson, this creates a lucrative alternative to mainstream platforms that might exclude them. Critics argue that such apps provide controversial voices with monetization opportunities without sufficient oversight, while supporters counter that they represent a free market alternative to media censorship. Robinson's latest remarks underscore that divide. His supporters see the backlash as further proof of bias, while detractors view his defiance as evidence of how hard it is to hold figures accountable in the age of platform fragmentation. The episode highlights a broader shift in the cultural landscape, where campaigns to deplatform public figures once had sharp consequences. The rise of subscription apps, private communities, and alternative media has blunted their impact. Figures like Robinson can pivot controversies into promotional tools, strengthening ties with their core audience. For Robinson, this latest skirmish is less a threat than an opportunity. In the video, he appeared not just unfazed, but energized by the attention. Whether Migrant will ultimately bow to pressure remains to be seen. But for now, Robinson is signaling confidence that cancellation, at least in its old form, is no longer an existential threat. And now we come to Robert Janrick Emp. Let me be very clear. Zia Yusuf from Reform put that out without any context. Robert Jenrick Emp reacts to an unearthed clip of him boasting about ramping up the use of migrant hotels.
Look, I do understand that you got a pretty good reception when you went down there to Epping, as I'm sure one or two people might have said to you. They said the same thing to me today, so I do want to put this to you, which is that the Tories had 14 years at this, and that actually the Tories were ultimately responsible for the initial phase of the migrant hotels. I am going to play a little clip here now, which I'm sure you're sick of seeing, but I'd love to get your reaction of. It's a clip about the migrant hotels during your time in the last government.
We have procured more hotels very rapidly, and more are coming on board literally every day. More hotels have been coming online almost every month throughout the whole of this year. So Suella Braverman and her predecessor, Priti Patel, were procuring more hotels. What I have done in my short tenure is ramp that up and procure even more.
So what do you think when you see that back now? What's your attitude? What would be your response to that?
Well, let me be very clear about what that is. Zia Youssef from Reform put that out. He didn't give any of the context around that. And earlier today, if you look on my Twitter account, you'll see that I've completely taken apart the nonsensical argument that he made. I became Immigration Minister at a time when the camp in Manston was out of control, complete chaos. In fact, there'd been an attack on the camp, the reception centre that we had in Dover. And so we had to do something in that moment to get some of the migrants out. And we didn't want to just let them loose on the streets of Kent. But by the time I left office, a year later, when I resigned from government because Rishi Sunak wasn't doing enough, I had set in train the closure of 100 of those hotels. More than anyone had done previously, more than anyone's done subsequently. And why? Because I actually got the number of people coming on small boats down by more than a third. They'd risen massively in the years before then, and they've risen massively since then. And the hotel in Epping, I closed it. And Labour reopened it a year later. And it used to have families in it, not great, but nonetheless, families. When Labour reopened it, they put single males in, which created so much concern in that community. But look, was that enough? No, of course it wasn't. I don't want to see a single hotel in any community in our country. That's ultimately why I chose to resign from the government, because I thought this was a disgraceful policy, and I was so sick to death of seeing this and the harm that it's causing to communities. The answer that I fought for, tooth and nail, when I was in government, was to change our laws, leave the human rights conventions that are hamstringing us, and then detain and deport every single one who comes into this country. That is the answer to this. We could do that tomorrow. Keir Starmer is making this worse. He's not taking the advice that I've given him, but that's what I would do.
Just very quickly, because you mentioned the ECHR there is a concern that Yvette Cooper might try to use the ECHR to block this High Court.
Well, that would be an irony, wouldn't it? Well, irony of all ironies. Yeah. Look, she should just take heed from the anger and frustration that you can see in Epping and other parts of the country. Not try and force this on other communities, but actually adopt the kind of policy that we now actually need as a country and deport these people. The whole racket could come to an end. The hotels, the billions of pounds, the crime that we're seeing on our streets, the people smuggling gangs that she says she's smashing but clearly isn't. The whole farce could come to an end if only she did that.
This is a gift in a way for her now. If she looks at this, she can even if she doesn't want to do it morally, you know, she can hide behind this court ruling if she wants to.
Well, she could do, Patrick. I don't think she will do. But look, what I would say to every council now in the country who shares my concern about illegal migration, whether it's Conservative, Reform, frankly, any political persuasion, do the same. Launch a legal action tomorrow. You've seen that Broxbourne Council, a very good Conservative council, is doing it. Every council in the country should do it now. Protect your residents from the crime, the cost, the community cohesion issues that come with these hotels, and put maximum pressure now on Yvette Cooper and Keir Starmer to end this tomorrow.
All right, look, Robert, thank you very, very much for making the time for us yet again on Patrick Christie's tonight. It's always a pleasure. It's Robert Jenrick there, the Shadow Justice Secretary.